The air is thick, not with dust, but with the scent of old money, oiled wood, and the faint, almost imperceptible hum of climate control systems preserving millions of dollars of cultural history. It crackles with unspoken numbers. In the hushed, carpeted theater of a Christie's or a Sotheby's evening sale, a cathedral of capital, a polished gavel hangs, poised. It hovers for a fraction of a second, a moment suspended in time, a pendulum between art and asset. Below it, under the glare of meticulously calibrated spotlights, rests a luminous canvas, perhaps a Mark Rothko, its vast fields of crimson and ochre seeming to breathe, to pulsate with a profound, almost spiritual energy. Or maybe it's a Jean-Michel Basquiat, a chaotic symphony of crowns, symbols, and raw urban poetry scrawled with the furious energy of a life lived on the edge. The auctioneer, a figure of immense control and charisma, scans the room. Their voice is not a shout, but a hypnotic cadence, a rhythmic incantation of escalating figures that transforms the very substance of the artwork. 100 million. The words land with a soft yet seismic thud. 105 million. A pause. The silence that follows is more potent than any sound. It is a vacuum filled with calculation, ego, and the sheer intoxicating thrill of acquisition. This isn't merely a transaction, it's a performance, a meticulously choreographed ritual where cultural prestige meets the raw, untamed force of capital. We, the spectators, whether in the room or watching a live stream, witness the surface-level drama. We see the subtle nods from bidders hidden in shadow, the almost imperceptible raise of a paddle by a collector's agent on the phone to a client halfway across the world. We observe the shifts in body language that signal millions of dollars changing hands, a tightened jaw, a glance towards a rival, the quiet confidence of a final, decisive bid. This is the theater of the auction, a spectacle refined over centuries. From the frantic candle auctions of the 17th century, where the bidding ended when a candle stub sputtered out, to today's globally broadcast high-tech events. The auctioneer is the conductor, orchestrating the tempo of desire, building tension with a perfectly timed pause, a raised eyebrow, a direct glance that challenges a bidder to go further. They are part psychologist, part showman, reading the subtle tells of the room, sensing when a bidding war is about to ignite, and fanning the flames with practiced ease. The phenomenon of auction fever is real, a psychological state where the competitive drive to win, to possess the unpossessable, overrides rational financial judgment. The object on the stage almost becomes secondary to the act of conquest. But beneath this visible spectacle, this captivating performance of wealth and will, what deeper currents truly ignite a bidding war? What transforms a painting from a museum-worthy object with an estimated value into an astronomical legend, its price a headline that will echo across the global financial and cultural landscape? It is a confluence of forces, many of them invisible to the casual observer. It's the story whispered from collector to collector, the academic weight of a recent museum retrospective, the subtle but powerful endorsement of having once hung on the wall of a Rockefeller or a Rothschild. It's the primal allure of owning something unique, a singular moment of an artist's genius that can never be replicated. The bidders are not just buying canvas and pigment, they are buying a piece of history, a slice of immortality, a definitive statement of their own taste, power, and cultural ascendancy. The artwork becomes a trophy, a marker of entry into one of the world's most exclusive clubs. The price achieved in these few heart-pounding minutes will forever be fused to the artwork's identity, becoming as much a part of its story as the artist who created it. It becomes the $100 million Rothko, its aesthetic and emotional power now inextricably linked to its staggering monetary value. What then, beyond the brushstrokes, beyond the sublime color and form, compels such fervent, world-altering desire? Extending that silent drama from the option floor, we peel back the velvet curtain to reveal the meticulous, almost scientific mechanics that precede the gavel's fall. The final, astronomical price is not born from thin air. It is the explosive culmination of a long, quiet, and intensely detailed process of valuation. Long before the spotlights hit the canvas, a hidden army of experts, art historians, conservators, researchers, and market analysts meticulously builds the foundation of its worth. The first and most crucial pillar is provenance. This is the artwork's biography, its unbroken chain of custody from the moment it left the artist's studio to the present day. Researchers become detectives, delving into dusty archives, poring over family letters, exhibition catalogs, and bills of sale. Provenance documents are traced through centuries, a forensic genealogy of ownership that can read like an epic novel. A painting might have passed from a Parisian salon in the 19th century to a German industrialist's collection, been seized by the Nazis during World War II, restituted to the original family's heirs decades later, and then sold to a Japanese tycoon in the 1980s. Each step in this journey must be flawlessly documented. A gap in provenance can raise questions of authenticity or rightful ownership, potentially costing millions. A stellar provenance, however, one that includes celebrated collectors or significant historical figures, adds an intangible but immensely valuable layer of prestige. It's the story that sells. Alongside this historical investigation is a rigorous physical examination. The condition report is the artwork's medical chart, a forensic analysis that dissects every square inch of the object. Conservators, using a combination of a trained eye and advanced technology, document every flaw. Microphotography reveals the topography of the paint surface, charting the fine network of craquelure. Ultraviolet light exposes areas of restoration, revealing where a later hand has retouched the original work. X-radiography can peer beneath the surface, unveiling pentimenti, earlier images or compositions painted over by the artist, offering a fascinating glimpse into the creative process. Infrared reflectography can make underdrawings visible, showing the artist's initial sketch on the canvas. Chemical analysis of pigments can help confirm the work's date and authenticity. This process is unforgiving. A perfectly preserved work is the ideal, but even the nature of its damages and repairs tells a story. Has it been aggressively overcleaned, stripping away the artist's final delicate glazes? Has it been relined, a process where a new canvas is attached to the back of the old one, which can sometimes flatten the original texture? Every detail is noted, and every imperfection can impact the final price. This physical and historical data is then synthesized with art historical significance. This is where the work is placed within the grand narrative of art history. Experts weigh its importance against canonical movements. Is it a prime example of Impressionism, a pivotal work of early Cubism, a defining statement of abstract expressionism? They analyze where it sits within the artist's own oeuvre. Is it from a celebrated and rare period, like a Blue Period Picasso or a drip painting from Jackson Pollock's peak years of 1947? Or is it a later, less sought-after work? The presence of the work in major museum exhibitions, its inclusion in the artist's catalogue raisonné, the definitive scholarly compilation of their entire body of work, all serve as stamps of approval, validating its importance. Finally, all this information is fed into the market's analytical engine. Specialists track the artist's market trajectory, comparing recent auction results for similar works in terms of size, period, and quality. They analyze broader market trends, considering the current appetite for certain movements or artists. The opening bid and the pre-sale estimate published in the catalog are not random numbers or hopeful guesses. They are a meticulously calculated entry point, a synthesis of deep scholarship, forensic science, and cold, hard market speculation. Does this rigorous, almost scientific analysis that quantifies every historical and physical attribute truly capture the art's elusive soul, or does it merely define its quantifiable market potential? From that calculated entry point, the market's true modern alchemy begins. The final price hammered down in the auction room is not solely a reflection of intrinsic artistic merit, impeccable provenance, or even historical significance. In the high-stakes contemporary market, prices are often sculpted by a confluence of powerful and strategically deployed financial forces. One of the most significant, yet least understood, of these is the guarantee. An auction house, or more commonly a third party, can offer a seller a guaranteed minimum price for a work before the auction even begins. This removes the seller's risk. They are assured a certain amount of money regardless of the public bidding. In exchange, the guarantor shares in any upside if the work sells for more than the guaranteed amount. This practice has profound effects. It creates an artificial price floor, ensuring a work doesn't fail publicly, which can damage an artist's market. But it also transforms the artwork into a financial instrument akin to a derivative or an option. Guarantees offered to sellers can create a bidding war among potential guarantors before the public even sees the piece, establishing a high baseline value that is then presented as the market's natural state. It's a powerful tool for engineering confidence and momentum. This financial engineering runs parallel to the subtle but pervasive art of narrative building. Art, especially at the highest level, becomes a brand, and like any luxury brand, its value is tied to its story. This is where the world's mega galleries like Gagosian, Pace, and David Zwirner play a crucial role. They don't just sell art, they manage and build artists' careers, strategically placing works with influential collectors and museums, funding lavish exhibitions, and publishing scholarly monographs. They help craft the narrative that elevates an artist from a talented creator to a cultural icon. The story might be the tortured genius, the revolutionary outsider who broke all the rules, or the rediscovered master whose brilliance was overlooked for decades. Think of the Basquiat mythos, the graffiti prodigy who stormed the 1980s art scene, befriended Warhol, and died tragically young. That story, a potent mix of rebellion, genius, and tragedy, is inseparable from the multi-million-dollar prices his works now command. The auction houses amplify this narrative through their own sophisticated marketing. Lavish catalogs are produced that are as much art historical texts as they are sales pitches. Pre-sale exhibitions tour the globe, taking a masterpiece from Hong Kong to London to New York, building a crescendo of global hype, and positioning the artwork not just as a painting, but as a global cultural event. This all culminates in the curation of the auction itself, a strategic act of market psychology. The placement of works in a sale is no accident. An auction house might place a highly anticipated, hot work by a young artist early in the sale to generate excitement and a sense of a buoyant market. A blue-chip masterpiece might be positioned as the crown jewel in the middle of the sale, acting as a gravitational center. The works surrounding a key piece can influence its perception and price. This isn't just about demand, it's about engineered desire. It's about creating a cultural moment, a perfect storm of history, finance, and storytelling that transcends the canvas itself and compels collectors to pay a premium for a piece of that moment. What does it mean for the very definition of art when its primary stage becomes the financial arena? When its ultimate story is dictated not just by the artist's hand, by capital, by third-party guarantees, and by meticulously engineered scarcity? The echo of the gavel fades, but these questions remain, pulsing in the silence.